JFD, just fair and direct.
Okay, hello and good morning everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Espresso with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today's the 9th of October 2020. So yep, welcome everyone. Welcome to this Friday's morning session where we're going to have a very quick look at the markets, a few of the charts, the usual stuff. But before we do that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, a few seconds for you to read the rest and we can continue. Okay, so now then, also just before we jump into the charts, quick mentioning of our JFD YouTube channel, to which you can always subscribe to in order not to miss any of our upcoming videos, and of course our JFD Bank website and specifically our JFD research page, which we also update on a daily basis. So yeah, feel free to visit us here on jfdbank.com and click on the research tab right there on the top. So now then, let's quickly jump into the charts. Now the first one I want to pick up here is on Nikkei 225. Yesterday I talked about this one, and basically what I was saying, that given that we had a nice move here above this area, above this 23,508 zone, that kind of increased the chances for this index to move further north, and it did so initially, but then as you can see it kind of reversed south quickly and ended the day slightly in the red. Nevertheless, it was still able to keep the week in the positive territory and still above this barrier, above this 23,580 zone that I mentioned before. That level, by the way, let me just go back into a daily chart. That level marks the high of the 3rd of September, guys, here. So you can see that throughout the whole September it was acting as a good area of resistance. So yes, we did have a bit of an overshoot here, but nevertheless, it kind of the index remained above this area. So we're gonna keep an eye on this one next week now, but of course what we're also gonna do is keep an eye on the futures of Nikkei 225, because if the US equities will reverse suddenly south here, then yes, we could see a nice opening gap here to the downside on Monday morning. But again, keep your eyes on this one, and as I mentioned to you previously, that for me to kind of get a little bit more excited with the downside, maybe ideally drop below this 23,300 zone, or maybe this 23,272 territory would be ideal, and then yep, we could consider lower areas. Now, jumping into Shanghai Composite, and finally this index is open today, and it did open with a nice gap to the upside. It's still trading, still has around 50 minutes left of trading, so let's keep an eye on it. But the most important here is this. The fact that it traveled higher but found good resistance near the 21-day EMA, here shown as the yellow line, and in a way it could still push a little bit higher, but be very careful then near this short-term downside resistance line taken from the high of the 31st of August, which could halt the acceleration. And if the buyers struggle to lift the price above this downside line, then yep, another round of selling here could be possible. So again, all eyes right now are on this 21-day EMA and this downside line. But if those two get broken, then yep, higher levels could be met here, but at the moment it's not really the case. Yes, we had a nice pop here higher, but for now this could be considered as a temporary correction. Now if we do get a break of this downside line, now what the index would be confirming is probably a nice range where it's currently trading in. So the lower bound is roughly near the 3,181 zone, and the upper side is near the 3,457 territory. So if we get a break above this downside line, then yep, our next target is this upper side of the range. Now jumping into German DAX, and here the situation is quite positive, I would say. And let me just quickly jump into a cash index to see where the price is currently trading at. So yes, yesterday we had a nice pop here. The index continued to rally. It moved above this psychological 13,000 territory and remained above that area. This morning we're seeing a bit of a correction here right now on the cash index. However, the correction, the current price is still above yesterday's close. So in a way, as you can see yesterday, for example, when I was saying that I'm targeting this 13,116 territory, we just fell shy of a few points from reaching that area. And today, if the index remains above that psychological 13,000 zone, I'll still continue targeting the upside and aiming for this 13,116 territory, a break of which could open the door towards slightly higher levels. But I'll get to that if we get a nice good strong push above this 13,116 zone. For now, all eyes are going to be on that psychological 13,000 zone. Gold is making its way higher again, and this time it's also testing this downside line taken from the high of the 7th of August. Let's see if we can get a further move higher above this downside line. If so, then the index might get stalled here near this other downside line, slightly flatter one, but nevertheless an important one, taken from the high of the 18th of August. Now, if that gets broken as well, now this is where it could become a little bit more interesting for more buyers, and we could see this one traveling further north. At the moment, we're going to be taking a bit of a careful approach here, because even with the downside, I would prefer to see a drop below this 1877 territory, which, as you can see, continues to provide decent support. If that gets broken, then yep, lower levels could be met. But for now, we are testing this downside line. So let's see if the if gold can push further north. If it can, then yes, the other downside line could come into play. But if that gets broken, now this is where it could become a little bit more exciting for more buyers. Silver. Still the same game plan. To be honest, I'm not going to spend too much time on this one, because I've talked about this one this week, and it's the same idea that I'm waiting for a clear break either above this 24.40 territory or below this 22.89 zone. Either way here, if we get a nice break above this barrier, we see the price getting placed back above the 21-day EMA here again, which some buyers could see as a good opportunity to step in. On the other hand, if the price drops below the 22.89 territory, this would place the price below the 100-day EMA, shown as the green line here, and maybe more sellers could see this as a good opportunity to step in. WTI oil, quick update. So we had a nice push higher yesterday. We overcame this 200-day EMA. That's wonderful. However, look at this beautiful move here, where the 41.46 zone acted as a very nice area of resistance. Now, this is what I was talking about this whole week, basically, where I was saying that we need that confirmation break above this area in order to get a little bit more excited with the upside, because such a move here would confirm a forthcoming higher high, and more buyers could be joining in. Now, the fact that the price is declining right now, yes, puts us in a bit of a careful approach here, a careful situation, careful stance. But on the positive note is the fact that the price, the commodity, is still kind of balancing above this 200-day EMA here. As you can see, this 200-day EMA is providing decent support right now. So if we get a reversal from this 200-day EMA and we get a nice pop above this 41.46 zone, now this is where it could become very interesting for more buyers. Now, Bitcoin. Bitcoin. So one of the downside lines here has been broken. That's great. However, you can see that this other downside line taken from the high of the 17th of August is providing resistance right now. So as I mentioned to you guys previously, that we need to see a clear exit either through this downside line here, or should I say both of these downside lines, or through this upside support line. So of course, the fact that we are testing right now this this downside line taken from the high of the 17th of August, that's of course good news for the buyers. Could be good news for the buyers, but still wait for that confirmation break here. And what you could do also is keep an eye on this high, the high of the 28th of September, near the 10,986 zone. A nice good pop above it may clear the path towards higher levels. 80 USD. So the pair is reversing again after we saw on Tuesday a nice decline. So the pair went down and found support near this 0.1797 zone, from which, as you can see, it rebounded and is now pushing back up. However, don't get me wrong, the pair is still kind of hanging around this 21-day EMA, which kind of puts us still in a cautious stance here. But if it continues to rise, if it continues to move higher, yes, that's great news for the buyers. However, be very careful near this downside line taken from the high of the 1st of September, which could provide good resistance. However, if that downside line eventually breaks, and then we could see more buyers joining in here, guys. So that's why for now, be very careful, be very cautious, and let's keep an eye on the upside, of course, but keep your eyes on this downside line as well, because if it provides resistance, and if the pair struggles to overcome it, then another round of selling here could be possible. Now, jumping into GBP USD, of course, keep your eyes on today's calendar, guys. Are actually already a bit too late, because the news have already come out in terms of GDP figures for UK, the month-on-month GDP figures, which came out at 2.1%, where the previous one was around 6.4. But to be honest, I think that this figure is kind of getting back to normal, in line with its kind of normal movement, but still, nevertheless, still a good result for the pound. And you can see that the pound, yes, is still trading in the positive territory for now. However, given that what I was talking about this whole week, in order to aim for higher levels, still we need that confirmation break above this 1.30 territory, and then yep, we could aim for some higher levels, because this would confirm a forthcoming higher high and more buyers could be joining in here. But again, at the moment we're stuck here. Even with the downside, we cannot really consider slightly lower levels until we get a drop below the 1.2868 zone right here, guys. USD CAD, now also something to keep in mind for today. We do have the Canadian employment numbers coming out. Currently, the employment change for September is expected to have declined a little bit. The unemployment rate is expected to have declined as well. So which is so on the first stance, it's not a very good forecast. On the other, on the unemployment rate, it is a good one. So but the previous one was sitting at around 10.2%. Now the forecast is for 9.7. So let's see how and where this this rate is going to come out at. But looking at this technical picture here on USD CAD, you can see that what I talked about previously was that if we get a break of this upside line and then a drop below this 1.3240 zone, then yes, lower levels could be met. As you can see, so far the pair is moving to the downside. My next target here is roughly around the 1.3128 zone here, marked by the low of the 16th of September. So for now, yes, everything is looking quite bearish for this pair. It might recover somewhat, maybe on the news here, and if the numbers come out on the worst side here, the USD CAD could recover somewhat. But for now, everything's like looking quite positive here for the Canadian dollar. It is strengthening against its neighboring counterpart. So let's see how this is going to play out today. But overall, my target for now is this 1.3128 zone. Again, quick update on euro against the Turkish lira. As you can see, this is unstoppable to the north. It just continues to move north, and yep, for now, I mean, as I said, guys, it's a short seller's nightmare right now. So this pair, so be very careful. Again, at the moment, until we see a clear reversal signal, we cannot really talk about any downside. So just like I said, we are at it keeps creating these new all-time highs. Yesterday it did so. Let's see if it's going to happen today again. But for now, yes, everything's looking quite positive for this pair, but not very positive for the Turkish lira, of course. You know, but that's the kind of keep an eye on those. If you're interested, of course, keep your eyes on those developments and the economic life of Turkey. And yep, let's see if we get a nice reversal signal on this pair. For now, we don't get that one yet. Euro CHF. So previously I looked at this one, and initially the pair was trading still above this upside support line taken from the low of the 18th of May, but now we need to get rid of this upside line, because what I'm going to be focusing here on will be this range. So roughly around here, guys, this range is roughly between the 1.0717 and the 1.0838 levels. So that's approximately around there. Let me just grab this highlighted area right here and drag it all the way there. Now, if as long as the pair stays within the boundaries of this range, to be honest, we're not going to really do much, and we're just going to continue observing the price action. Whereas if we finally get a push of some sort out of this range, if we get a nice pop above this 1.0838 zone, and not only a pop, a nice daily candle remaining above it, because as you can see here, for example, around in the beginning of September, we had these overshoots here, but neither of the daily candles kind of stayed above this area. So that's why for now, guys, be very careful. Like I said, as long as it remains in here, we're going to take a bit of a neutral stand. But if it finally gets out of this, either breaks through the 1.0838 or drops below the 1.0717 territory, now that's where it could become a little bit more interesting, maybe more of in near term or medium term even. So again, keep your eyes on that one. And finally, Euro USD. So still not much is happening here. It's for the whole week. To be honest, it's just kind of moving sideways a little bit here. Not much activity. Still keeping an eye on these two levels, as I mentioned in all of my videos this week. We need to see a nice good break either above this 1.18 zone, roughly around here, in order to consider some higher levels, or we need to see a drop below this 1.1696 zone in order to consider some lower levels. So again, at the moment, like I said, not much excitement here. Still the same game plan remains, so let's keep an eye on it, and let's see how all this is going to play out today. So guys, I really hope you found it useful. I'll have to wrap it up here. If you want to catch my video later on, my trader's tea time is always that's 13:15 GMT time. For now, I hope you have a wonderful trading day. Stay safe, have your stop losses in place, and all will be fine. So have a wonderful day today, guys. See you later, and thank you very much for watching.